Hey guys, Bree here from Fitness Coliseum again. We've got the whiteboard out again to talk about some more conceptual things in the world of fitness, nutrition, athletics, etc. So the last time we got the whiteboard out, we talked about the fitness, wellness, sickness continuum. Today we're going to talk about effort over time, how that equates to results, having goals, what maintenance means, those types of things. So this is actually going to be probably a little bit long. I'm going to give you a long form of it, and then I'm also going to break this into a few different short forms to break up the concepts a little bit. The reason why I decided to talk about this today was because we just got out of the CrossFit Open. And the CrossFit Open is a great time period for us every year to kind of evaluate our fitness, see where we're at, set new goals. But also sometimes it can get a little bit frustrating for people if maybe they don't feel like they've seen as much improvement from the year before as they had hoped. Or a skill comes up that they hadn't improved on when they had improved on other ones, different things like that. So it's a really fun time of year. Sometimes it can be a little bit frustrating or eye-opening. And so I wanted to bring to light some of the concepts that I try to talk to my members about a lot to keep us engaged in our fitness, understand how progress and results happen, and keep us motivated and understand that maybe things might not always move as fast or in exactly the way we want to. So let's look at the whiteboard here. So the first thing we're going to talk about is how effort equates to results. Now, I'm going to throw some numbers in here. Those are not any sort of exact numbers. They are just going to be representations of kind of how this concept works. This could be very different for different people. There's always caveats to everything, but I think this is a really good illustration of kind of how effort over time equates to results, especially in the fitness and kind of body composition nutrition world. So here we've got 4 different kind of changes. So we've got someone going from deconditioned to healthy. We've got someone going from generally healthy to in good health, okay, a higher level of health. We've got someone in good health or good fitness moving to a competitive level of fitness or extremely good health. And then we've got someone moving from that extremely good health, competitive level of fitness all the way up to like elite, high level, top less than 1% athlete. So we've got these kind of 4 levels of changes here. Now, what's interesting is, so most of us start somewhere here, right? Going from some level of deconditioned to healthy when we take on eating better, coming into the gym, those types of things. And as a general rule, we're going to consider this change taking a 1-to-1 effort to results. So if you put in X amount of effort, you're going to get a pretty standard level of results that come to that. If you put in 3 to 5 days a week in the gym and make your eating habits about an 80-20, eating well 80% of the time, eating what we almost have normally now 20% of the time, you're probably going to get pretty relatively good results moving from deconditioned to healthy, okay? It might not be an insane lifestyle change. It's not going to take constant effort in your head. You're going to have kind of breaks from it, those types of things. So when you're moving from deconditioned to healthy, it's a little bit easier. Now, that doesn't mean the decisions are easier. That doesn't mean if you've not worked out in years, it's going to be easy to work out. But your body is going to adapt relatively quickly to those changes. So 1-to-1 effort to results. Also, usually kind of 1-to-1 time to results, okay? So when you start moving from deconditioned to healthy, it's going to move at what most of us would kind of consider an acceptable rate. Now, yes, we sometimes have completely unrealistic expectations, but you could move from deconditioned to healthy over the course of a year. You could change your eating habits as long as you're staying consistent and see relatively consistent change that you can see and feel and measure as you're moving from deconditioned to healthy with a 1-to-1 of effort to results or time to results, okay? And that's where a lot of us start. When you show up at a CrossFit gym, your first year, you're learning how to do a pull-up. You're learning how to do a box jump. You couldn't run a mile and now you can. You're seeing a lot of those results pretty quickly. Now we move into the next level, moving from healthy to getting good, okay? You're not just healthy, you're good at it. You're better at your fitness. You not only can run a mile, but you can run it faster. You can run a 5K unbroken. Maybe you are starting to get pull-ups. Maybe you're starting to be able to do rope climbs. You're starting to be able to do some more complex skills, or you can do Murph, as prescribed, some of those things. So you're being a little bit more, you're getting above that level of healthy. Now, to be able to do that, to move from healthy to good, unfortunately, it doesn't necessarily just take a one-to-one anymore, okay? To get from healthy to good, you have to either do one of two things. You have to increase your effort, or be patient and realize that it's going to take more time, okay? Because that's probably going to be true for you. So if I'm someone who's in my CrossFit gym and I'm half the time I scale, half the time I RX my workouts, so I'm kind of in that healthy getting good stage. To move from that stage to where I can RX everything might take more time than it did to go from not being able to do anything to being able to come in and survive. It might take more time to go from here to here than it did from here to here. If I don't want it to take more time, if I want to move that process along faster, I probably can, but then it is then going to take more effort. So you're either going to have to put in extra skill work, extra hours in the gym. Maybe you add some lifting, okay? Maybe you dial in your nutrition even more so that it supports your workouts even more, okay? So doing exactly what you did to get from deconditioned to healthy will not get you from healthy to good at the same speed. It could get you there eventually, but it's not going to take it's going to take longer. Or you can increase your effort and try to get there faster. So hopefully that makes sense. Moving from here to here is essentially harder than moving from here to here. Let's move up again. I'm good now, okay? I can RX 99% of the workouts in my gym. I'm pretty good at my nutrition, okay? I'm maybe even 90-10 in terms of like eating really whole foods and doing well versus not. I've cut down my drinking. I've cut down my sugar. So now I'm definitely in that good category. I'm in good health, okay? Now I want to make it to semifinals. Now I want to see if I can go to the games. Maybe not the games. I want to make it to semifinals. I want to make it into quarters, maybe try to get to semifinals in terms of CrossFit. I want to be able to try a fitness competition. I want to be able to do a physique competition, something like that. Now you're trying to move from good to competitive, okay? Your body is happy. It's pretty dang healthy right now, okay? It feels great. Your lifestyle, also pretty good. Moving from here to here, even harder, okay? So, again, I could keep the same amount of effort that it took me to get from healthy to good. Maybe now that's an hour and a half in the gym, 5 days a week. Sweet. I got from healthy to good, doing an hour and a half in the gym, 5 days a week. I want to go from good to competitive. One of two things has to change or has to increase. Either the amount of effort I'm putting in this time frame, or the amount of time I'm accepting that it's going to take me to get there. So if I want to go from good to competitive, my effort either has to increase from where it was. Now I'm putting in an hour and a half session in the morning and a 45-minute lifting session at night, 5 days a week. Or I'm accepting that it's going to take me longer to make this move. It's going to take me 10 months instead of 2 months, something like that. Sounds bad. 5 years instead of 2 years. That's totally a thing. So if it took me 2 years to go from healthy to good in the gym to an RX athlete, I have to be willing to accept it's either going to take me over double the effort to get from good to competitive, or over double the time. 2 years from here to here, 5 years from here to here. Again, there are caveats to this, there are differences, but this is something that we do need to think about. I'm either having to increase my effort or increase the time that I'm willing to take to get there. Again, we move up one more, competitive to elite. Okay, this is, again, another jump, honestly, that most of us won't take. Competitive to elite, if we're talking about the CrossFit world, that's semifinals and above, okay? That's less than 0.01% of the people that just did the CrossFit Open. So if you are trying to go from here to here, again, you're going 10 to 1 effort level, okay, to see the tiniest changes, okay? You can string 12 bar muscle ups. You're trying to get to 15. You can string 10 ring muscle ups. You're trying to get to 20, okay? Those types of changes from competitive to elite take so much effort. They take so much technique. They take so much dialing in of your nutrition. Or they take forever, okay? Or it's just going to take you a really long time to get there, which is fine, okay? So this is something I like to point out to people, not to discourage you from trying to improve, because trying to improve is awesome. I think it's great. I am always trying to improve. I encourage my people to always try to improve. But it also is helpful to realize that improvements take more time and take more effort as you go along, okay? And it helps us get not discouraged as we're moving along and realizing that last year I did 5 chest to bar in a row, and this year I did 7. Oh, that seems kind of sad. 3 years ago, you couldn't do any chest to bar. So it's still good. Yes. Is it a smaller increment of change? Probably, because maybe you don't have the time to put in any more effort, or you don't have, or it just hasn't been enough time for that same amount of effort to develop your skills. Again, both of those things are fine as long as we're aware kind of how this concept works and realize that we don't need to get discouraged as things slow down. We might just need to find different measures of progress. Okay? So that's the number one thing I want you to look at. This can be related to fitness, kind of how I related it in the CrossFit world. It can be related to nutrition. It's another great way to think about it when you're compiling nutrition, maybe in terms of body composition. So getting to healthy from a nutrition standpoint, again, you could probably do like 80-20. When you're trying to move from healthy to like a good body composition, something that's at the lower end of your lean scale, that's going to take like a 90-10 amount of effort. If you're trying to get from a lean to an ultra lean, something that you could compete at a physique competition on, again, that's going to be 95-5. 95% of the time, you're getting it. 97% of the time, you're right on point to be able to move to this level. From competitive to elite, you're making good decisions almost all the time. So again, not that it can't happen, but the effort levels that are required increase, okay? Or the time it takes to get there. Now, we've talked about how to increase, how to get results, how to grow, okay? That does not mean that maintenance is a bad thing. Maintenance is great in so many stages of our lives, okay? Maintenance is great. If you have found good, you are in the gym 5 days a week, you eat good 85% of the time, you feel good, you can do life on your own, you can play with your kids, you can go on hikes, you can do all the things, your health markers are all in great standing. You know what? You can stay there, and it's a good thing. Staying there is great. If you don't want to put in 2-to-1 effort, you don't want to start going to the gym more, don't. Work hard when you're at the gym, but you don't have to try to move to the competitive level. You can be happy where you're at good. Over time, you will still continue to gain skills and gain strength, likely, okay? But you don't have to keep pushing for the next level. You can be happy in that maintenance. Now, maintenance does not mean zero effort. This is another big one, okay? Just because you're found a spot where you're like, I'm happy here, I'm good, I don't really want to push to the next level right now, I want to focus on my business or my family, I love where my health is at, I'm just going to stay with my hour at the gym 5 days a week, counting my macros through the week, I'm calling it good. Sweet. That does not mean you're done having effort. Because if you go backwards, if it took you 5 days a week in the gym to get there and counting your macros 5 days a week or hitting your nutrition 80% of the time, you can't go back to going to the gym twice a week and only hitting your nutrition 40% of the time and expect to maintain, because that's not how our bodies work. So you have to at least maintain your effort to maintain your results, which is fine. That's what we want. We want to find a happy place of doing enough, eating well, moving enough to keep our body in the healthy enough state that we're happy with. So maintenance does not mean zero effort. Maintenance means keeping your same amount of effort that you've been doing, okay? Consistency. Now, another thing about maintenance. Maintenance through age. Actually a win, okay? Maintenance through age. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I told you this video here might get a little bit long. So I'm going to tell you a story about the CrossFit Open last year. I was watching one of the CrossFit Open announcements, and one of the announcers, I believe it was Sean Woodland, we did a repeat last year, okay? We repeated a workout from about 8 years before. I remember listening, and Sean Woodland said, I only was 2 reps short of what I did 8 years ago. I was pretty dang happy about that. And my little 30-year-old brain, 29 at the time, said, Sean, why are you happy? You did worse. And then I thought about it. Sean, 8 years ago, was about 32 years old. I looked it up. Sorry, Sean. He was in his 30s, okay? He was in his 30s. He was much younger and at more of a peak age for a male athlete. It is now 8 years later. Sean has had a knee surgery, I believe. He is older, and he only got 2 reps short of where he did 8 years ago. That maintenance is actually a win. The fact that he, 8 years later, can almost do what he did 8 years ago after aging 8 more years, after surgery, after life for 8 years, that is a win. So as you age, as we kind of get over our peak age of fitness, because our bodies do have peak ages of fitness, okay, being able to maintain becomes a win, because life and the world and genetics are telling your body to slow down. So if you can maintain and fight through that as you get older, you are still making progress. So that's another thing to think about as we get older and as we move through life and our fitness journeys, is maintenance does not mean zero effort. It means sustained effort. And maintenance through age is actually progress. If you can do the same stuff that you did 5 years ago now, and you were 40 then, and you're 45 now, you were 45 then, and you're 50 now, if you can do the same things that you did 5 years ago now, that is progress, because you did not let aging take away from you, okay? So again, maintenance is a good thing. It's a happy place. Sometimes that's what we all need. And maintenance through age is actually progress. So now, looking at this, talking about how progress becomes harder to get as we get more elite, about how progress becomes harder to see as we age. What does that then tell us? To me, that tells me 2 things. A, I need to enjoy what I'm doing, because results are going to be fewer and farther between, probably. And B, I need to find different ways to measure those results and measure that progress, okay? So that's where enjoy the process comes from, okay? If you don't like what you're doing to try to make these results, you're not going to be happy. And it's not going to be fun, because then all you're thinking is, how do I get here? And because it's going to take you 5 times longer to get there, you're going to be 5 times more miserable getting there, okay? You've got to find something that helps you enjoy pushing the needle forward or keeping the needle where it's at, okay? You've got to find type of nutrition that works for you. Is it counting macros? For me, that is. I can do it in my head. It's easy for me. I enjoy it. That's my jam. If you counting macros is the worst thing that's ever happened to you, don't count macros. Find a different way to keep your nutrition on track. Maybe it's focusing on just eating whole foods. Maybe it's meal prepping for yourself. Maybe it's working with a one-on-one coach who can help you kind of decipher the psychology of how you eat. Whatever it might be, find the way that improving your nutrition works for you so that you enjoy it as you're trying to keep the needle where it's at or move it forward versus dread it every step of the way. Same thing with fitness, okay? Whether it's CrossFit, some of what we do here, whether it's our boot camp programming, whether it's mountain biking, running, whatever it might be, you have to find the fitness that is going to help you enjoy either maintaining your effort level of fitness to maintain your health, or be able to put in more time or more effort to improve those things. So you have to enjoy that process. That's number one. Number two is we have to find different ways to measure progress, okay? Because things are going to be, concrete things are going to be a little bit harder to find as we go, okay? It could be specific skills. For me this year, I literally thought this year. I was moving into the CrossFit Open, and I thought, am I really that much fitter than I was last year? I kind of feel like I am, but I kind of feel like I'm not. How do I know, right? We did a workout at the end, the last 24.3, had bar muscle ups in it. Last year during quarterfinals, I had to do bar muscle up singles from a box, and I was doing one bar muscle up maybe every 30 seconds. And I was missing every 3 or so. This year, we did bar muscle ups. I did them from the floor. I changed sets of 3, 4, 2. I was doing a set every 15 to 20 seconds. That is where I was able to see my progress this year. And it was great. It was something that showed me the needle had moved forward. Is my body composition that much different? No, because I spent a decent amount of my year in a maintenance mode, okay? Not pushing forward. I'm moving into a push forward mode, but right now I'm in a maintenance mode. So my body composition very much maintained. Am I mad about it? No. Was I able to focus on other things like building a house and renovating another house and getting a dog? Yes. Okay, so maintenance for me, body composition wise, was a really good choice for several months this year. So I was able to see my progress in the skill department. So finding different ways to see your progress and measure your progress is kind of that last key of making it through this and realizing that effort and time, it takes more effort and more time to see results. We have to find different results to look at so that we can continue to be encouraged and have those wins. Okay, so that is, I want you to have 3 takeaways from today. A, farther down the continuum, getting even more elite, even more competitive, either takes increased amounts of effort right now or even more consistent effort over longer periods of time to move the needle forward as you get more competitive. 2, you don't have to want to get more competitive. That is fine. Or more elite, or leaner, or anything like that. Once you are healthy, you can be done, okay? And if that's what you want, sweet. Maintain being healthy, but you cannot do it with 0 effort. To maintain healthy, you have to maintain effort. Number 3, maintenance over age through aging is progress. If you can do what you did 10 years ago, now, that's progress. If 10 years from now, you can do what you did today, that's progress because you did not let age or life bring you down. You maintained through the years, through aging. That is great. And then your last one is because these things are all true, we have to have a better way or different ways to measure results and progress so that we can find those wins and enjoy it. And B, you have to enjoy what you're doing. Okay? You have to find fun in it. You have to be with good people. You have to be happy about what you're doing and doing it by choice. Okay? Because if you're working your butt off to move forward, move the needle forward, spending tons of time, putting in tons of effort, and you don't freaking like it, you're going to get here and you're going to hate it. And that's not cool. So those are the key takeaways I want you to take away from today. I hope this maybe struck a couple chords in you, maybe made you think about what your current goals are, the amount of effort you're putting in, what do you really actually want out of your fitness and your nutrition. And I hope this kind of shed some light on that. If you have any questions, feel free to message me, any comments, anything like that. If you have a personal story to share about how maybe you have moved the needle forward or found a place that you're good at maintaining, Or maybe even if you've been like me, where you've gone through different phases where you have tried to push the needle forward, and then you've gone through phases where you're like, maintenance is it right now in terms of health because I'm pushing the needle forward in other parts of my life. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. Like I said, obviously this was a long one. I'm going to try to break it down into some shorter videos for you guys as well to make it a little bit more digestible. But thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, I'm always here at Fitness Coliseum. Thanks, guys.